Every man at some point in his life will face the temptation of being blinded by beauty charm or flattery. History is filled with stories of great men who lost everything not because of external enemies, but because they failed to recognize the dangers that came disguised as love. The Stoics warned us of this centuries ago. Marcus Aurelius reminded himself each morning that he would meet people who were selfish, deceitful, and manipulative, yet none of them could touch his soul unless he allowed it. The same truth applies today, especially in relationships. This video is not about hating women, nor is it about bitterness. It is about clarity. Because just as there are women who will uplift you, inspire you, and bring peace into your life, there are also those who will drain you, disrespect you, and lead you into ruin if you do not guard yourself. And the most dangerous ones are not always obvious. They often come with smiles, sweet words, and promises, but their behaviors reveal everything. Today, we'll uncover 5 dangerous types of women you must avoid at all costs. These are not minor flaws or harmless quirks. These are destructive traits that can rob you of your peace, your resources, and your very sense of self. Ignore the warning signs, and you risk losing years of your life to someone who never valued you. But if you recognize them early, you can walk away with your dignity, your freedom, and your inner strength intact. Let us begin. Number 1. A woman surrounded by many men whom she calls her friends. At first, it might not seem like a big deal. You meet a woman, and she casually mentions that she has a lot of male friends. She insists they are just friends, that you shouldn't worry that you're being insecure if you raise a concern. But here's the uncomfortable truth. When a woman surrounds herself with many men, constantly entertaining their attention, she is keeping replacements close at hand. A man who values himself knows that loyalty is not proven by words, but by actions. If she is constantly texting, calling, or spending time with other men, then you are not her priority. You are simply one of many. And when she calls these men friends, it's often just a softer way of saying, "These are my options, in case things don't work out with you." The Stoics would call this a red flag of character. Epictetus reminded us that a person who cannot control their desires is enslaved by them. A woman who thrives on the attention of many men is addicted to validation. She doesn't need one solid relationship, she craves the constant approval that keeps her ego alive. And when you enter such a situation, you are not in a relationship of trust, but in a competition you never agreed to play. Consider this: would Marcus Aurelius, a man who valued discipline above all else, tolerate such distractions in his life? Absolutely not. Because every moment spent worrying about her loyalty is a moment robbed from your peace and your mission. The punchline is simple: if she cannot let go of the constant attention of men, she will never fully belong to you. She is preparing for your replacement even while you are present. A woman like this is not your partner. She is your downfall. Avoid her. And if you think that's harsh, wait until you hear the next type, because this one won't just take your peace, she will take your resources. Number 2. A woman who wants you for your money and brings you no value. Every relationship involves some form of exchange time, energy support, or resources. But there is a massive difference between a healthy exchange and pure exploitation. A dangerous woman sees you not as a man, but as an ATM. She doesn't care about your struggles, your goals, or your dreams. What she cares about is what you can provide financially. At first, she may disguise it as normal requests, dinners, gifts, or trips. But over time, you realize the relationship is one-sided. You give, she takes. You invest, she spends. You work harder, she demands more. This is not love, it is parasitism. The Stoics warned against attaching ourselves to external things that can be taken away. Seneca once wrote that wealth is the slave of a wise man and the master of a fool. If you allow a woman like this into your life, your wealth will no longer serve your goals. It will be drained to feed her endless appetite. Real-life examples are everywhere. Men who worked decades to build a business, only to watch it collapse under the weight of a partner who viewed them as nothing more than a provider. Some men even stay in such toxic arrangements out of fear of loneliness, only to discover too late that financial ruin is worse than solitude. The punchline here is sharp. A woman who brings no value but drains your finances is not a partner. She is a financial vampire. And like any vampire, the more you feed her, the weaker you become. Avoid her, or you'll wake up not only broke, but broken in spirit. And if you think money loss is bad, imagine what happens when she starts attacking your authority and respect. That brings us to the next type. Number 3. A woman who doesn't take instructions, corrections, or direction from you. Every healthy relationship requires respect. Respect is shown not in big speeches, but in small daily actions: listening, cooperating, and valuing each other's perspectives. But a dangerous woman refuses to be guided. She resists correction, ignores your boundaries, and treats your leadership with contempt. At first, you may excuse it as independence. You tell yourself, she's just strong-willed. But strength is not the same as arrogance. The Stoics valued humility as the foundation of wisdom. A woman who cannot be corrected is not strong. She is stubborn to the point of destruction. Real-life examples. Consider a man who points out that a decision is harmful, spending recklessly engaging in toxic friendships or disrespecting boundaries. Instead of listening, she argues, mocks, or doubles down. Such a woman is not building a partnership, she is competing against you. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "If someone is mistaken, instruct them kindly. But if they refuse instruction, accept that nature itself has set limits." In other words, if she cannot accept correction, she has chosen her path. And if you remain, you will share in her downfall. The punchline: a woman who cannot be guided will eventually guide you into chaos. Respect is not optional. It is the foundation. If it is absent, the relationship is doomed. Avoid her, or your peace will collapse under constant conflict. And if you think constant defiance is draining, wait until you meet the next type, the one who poisons everything with bitterness. Number 4. An angry, bitter, unhappy woman. There is nothing more destructive to a man's spirit than being tied to someone who radiates bitterness. An angry woman does not need a reason to fight. She carries conflict within her. Every conversation turns into an argument, every small inconvenience into a storm. At first, you may try to fix her unhappiness. You tell yourself she just needs love, patience, or understanding. But you are not her therapist, and you cannot heal bitterness that she refuses to release. The Stoics taught that peace comes from within. Epictetus said, "It is not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." A bitter woman reacts to everything with anger, and no amount of external comfort will change that. Real-life examples abound: men who come home from a long day of work only to be met with complaints, accusations, and negativity. The home, which should be a sanctuary, becomes a battlefield. And slowly, the man begins to lose his strength, not because of the world outside, but because of the chaos inside his own walls. The punchline: you cannot build peace with someone who thrives on misery. Her anger will consume not only her, but you as well. Walk away, because peace of mind is worth more than companionship poisoned by bitterness. And if bitterness destroys peace, the next type destroys your very dignity. Number 5. A woman who constantly disrespects you. Respect is the cornerstone of love. Without it, everything else, attraction, intimacy, companionship, becomes meaningless. A dangerous woman who constantly disrespects you may do so through words, through actions, or through subtle undermining. She belittles your efforts, mocks your dreams, or compares you to other men. She may even do it in public, stripping away your dignity piece by piece. The Stoics emphasize the importance of guarding your self-respect. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Waste no more time arguing what a good man should be. Be one." But here's the truth. Even the strongest man cannot thrive in an environment where he is constantly disrespected. Real-life examples include men who stay in relationships where every achievement is dismissed, every failure is magnified, and every effort is ridiculed. Over time, the man begins to doubt himself, and once self-doubt enters, the cycle of disrespect deepens. The punchline: disrespect is not a flaw, it is a deal breaker. A woman who cannot honor you does not belong in your life. Walk away, because the longer you stay, the more you teach her that your dignity is negotiable. The Stoics taught us to value what is within our control: our choices, our character, our boundaries. The 5 dangerous types of women we've discussed are not just personal preferences. They are warnings, because the wrong relationship can destroy a man faster than any enemy. A woman surrounded by male friends will rob you of trust. A financial vampire will rob you of resources. A defiant woman will rob you of peace. A bitter woman will rob you of joy. And a disrespectful woman will rob you of your dignity. The lesson is simple: protect your peace as if it were treasure, because it is. Not every battle needs to be fought, and not every woman deserves your time. The greatest strength a man can show is walking away from what weakens him. Now I ask you, which of these warning signs have you seen in your life? Share your story in the comments below. You never know who your experience might save. And if this message resonated with you, subscribe for more Stoic wisdom and practical guidance to protect your strength and peace. Because at the end of the day, the goal is not just to avoid danger, it is to build a life of dignity, discipline, and inner freedom.